In this week's video fishing forecast for New England, we got to look at the November print issue of the Fisherman Magazine. A really awesome recipe if you've been filling out your tog limit and need some way to come up with a creative and different way to eat them tonight. Got an update from Pulaski, New York. Word on the surf fishing action all across New England. A 300-pound thresher shark landed off the Rhode Island coast. Continued awesome tog bite with plenty of sea bass, porgies, and cod mixed in, and much, much more. Let's check it out.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman Magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. Well, it's a little rainy here today, but no worries. I got my Grunin's Buoy X jacket on, so I'm staying nice and dry. Hopefully you're getting out fishing right now. As you're going to see, there is a lot going on, so I'm going to jump right into it before the rain fully opens back up on me again here. First off, I want to let you know that the November monthly issue of the Fisherman came out this week. And we got the big reveal here. In the November issue, the first 2 satellite tags have come back. We've processed all of the data. We've got the results. The first 2 tags of the 2020 installment of the Northeast Striped Bass Satellite Tag Study. I'm not going to give you away the details right now. You can check it out in print in the November issue, or you can check it out right now in the YouTube card. Check out the link, goes right to the article. You can read it right now. I gotta say, you're gonna be blown away. You saw what happened last year with the tags. The fish ended offshore, excuse me. Wait until you see what these did, and we've still got more coming in, so stay tuned for those updates. In addition to the satellite tag story, we've got a lot going on. Obviously, November, there's a lot of options. Even though it's getting a little bit colder every day, we've had some wind, some weather, what have you, there's still a lot to do, so we cover it in editorial this month, of course. We got fishing big plugs in the surf. We got an article on tackling pre-ice pike, as well as gathering bait for the fall and winter pike fishing. Last shot at bass and blues along the Rhode Island surf. And if you're really looking to extend your surf fishing season, we got a how-to guide to head down to New Jersey well into November and December by a local guide showing you exactly what you need to know. So go on over to thefisherman.com, hit your newsstands, and check it out right now. All right. Well, once again, you're going to see there's a lot of blackfish going on this week. The reports came in all across the region. So I bet a lot of you are looking for some way to eat those fillets. I mean, I love catch and release blackfish, but I also throw enough of them in the cooler because they are excellent table fare. But you might be looking for something a little different. So I'm passing along one of, if not my favorite, blackfish recipes. It's Uncle Crafty's Drunken Blackfish Stew. Now, this recipe comes from Rhode Island. It had been spread around by word of mouth. It was really kind of a somewhat secret recipe for the details. But a couple of years ago, I convinced Rhode Island surf sharpie Dennis Zambrata to put the recipe down on paper, and he gave me his blessing to pass it along to Fisherman subscribers, and now we've posted it at thefisherman.com, so you too can give a look at it. One tip I want to say, it's great as is, but if you do follow the recipe perfectly and make the fish stock from some blackfish racks, it is even better. Such a rich, deep flavor that produces. I highly recommend it. A little bit of extra effort, but well worth it nonetheless, so give it a look. And of course, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite blackfish recipe is. If you've got something that, something simple, something extravagant, what have you, I'm always looking for new recipes. Got a few fillets in the freezer, gonna head out this afternoon, hopefully, and add a couple more to it as well. So check it out for sure. All right, jumping into the reports. We're gonna start off up north, way up north, with a live report from Pulaski, New York, as Dave Bocas took a break from the surf for a couple days, took a bit of a ride, and he is checking in to let us know what he found.
Thank you, Toby. Coming at you from Pulaski, New York, the beautiful Salmon River this weekend. Decided to take the long trip up here. Try something out of my comfort zone for a change. We heard there was a really strong run going on, so we thought we'd plan a trip and get in on it. And first stop on our trip was to get outfitted. We stopped at Salmon River Sportsman Shop and talked to this individual right here. Thank you, Dave. Coming at you from inside the report. It's the report inside the report. Check it out. I'm here with a true pro to the sport, salmon fishing. All right, outside her shop, the Salmon River Sports Shop, with the real report on how things been. Zana, how's it been?
It's been kind of a tough year, slow start with not having a lot of rain. The water level is crystal clear, so the fish were seeing everything. Had to drop down to lighter gear. Within the last week, we had some rain, brought the water level up, kicked some sediment into the water. We're able to use our normal gear again. There's still a lot of salmon coming in, and the cooler water and higher water levels are pushing the steelies and the browns in too. So we're finally starting to get into those. Should be a really good next couple weeks.
All right, you heard it here. True pro. Just come visit her shop sometime. She'll set you up. She set me up with all the right gear. I'm excited to get started. Thank you, Dave. All right, so the truth is we were largely unsuccessful, although we did see a lot of fish, saw a lot caught, breach in the water in front of us, jumping and whatnot. Lots of nice salmon, and we saw, like I said, we saw a lot of people catch a lot of nice fish, including this father-son right here. They're nice enough to let me take a nice picture after I watched them land the fish. These two local guys got a monster and let me take a picture. Couple guys right next to us in the cabin next to us, they came back this morning with some absolute monsters. Got a nice picture of them too. So the run still seems like it's going pretty strong. You get mixed opinions from people. The steelies are what'll be coming up now, but there's still okay, decent, okay quality salmon coming up, and they start to get a little nasty past their prime. They're called zombies coming up. They're starting to get those. But other than that, it was a great trip, something I'll be trying to get in on again next year. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Dave. That is still on my my bucket list, to get up there to Pulaski, Salmon River, what have you, in the fall, but it's tough. I mean, locally we got striped bass in the surf, we've got great blackfishing, we got sea bass, we got cod starting up. It's tough to pass on this, not to mention trout fishing is really good right now, so there's a lot going on. It's always a tough one for me to get up there, but one of these years I'm gonna do it. Getting back into the New England reports, we're going to hit those surf fishing, a little surf fishing rundown for you from Dave Anderson, who is not only a diehard surf caster, but the surf fishing field editor. Here's what he had to report this week in the Fisherman Magazine's weekly print reports. He said the Outer Cape beaches have been cooling off quickly, but the the Vineyard's North Shore is reaping the rewards of those fish that are making a move. The canal seems to be getting steady pulses of bass as more and more fish trickle down from the north. Haven't been any reports of any really big fish, but fish from 25 to say 40 inches are being caught quite regularly. More, definitely enough to make it a little too early to go all light rods up there. So keep fishing the big sticks in the in the canal. In Rhode Island, the hurricane swell from a couple of weeks ago took a toll on that really reliable action that had been seen going on along South County for almost a month, but the fish are still there. They're just kind of trending smaller and smaller, but I'm sure we're going to get a shot of bigger fish coming. I might actually head down to Rhode Island, over to Rhode Island, this weekend, bounce through the breachways as the tides are setting up nicely for a tour of the breachways to do some jigging. In Connecticut, the best striper action has really been the far western part of the Sound, with guys both plugging as well as throwing eels on the rocky boulder fields doing quite well. And I also got word of a shot of 30 and even 40-pound bass heading into the Housatonic River last week. This is an annual event, happens every year, but unfortunately, usually by the time you hear about it from someone else or you get it in the report, most likely those fish are already well upriver or have continued their move to the west, but nonetheless still seeing those fish start to poke in. All right, well, that's pretty good coverage for what we got for the surf scene across Rhode Island. Bridging the gap from Massachusetts to Rhode Island, TJ Kopecki checks in once again with another awesome video report. Take it away, TJ.
Thanks, Toby. Hey guys, nice to be back again. I gotta say, fishing's still great in Mount Bay, Narragansett Bay, upper and lower. Lots of bait everywhere. The only thing about the lots of bait, don't see too many fish boiling on them. But if you're dropping straight down underneath the boat, that's how I've been getting them. I've been finding the bait if I don't see them on top, and just make a little small cast and just jig them up off the bottom. I've been doing really well with that up in Mount Hope Bay, up towards the old Brayton Point power plant. Tatagan, found a couple of rock piles up inside Mount Hope Bay also this weekend. Did really well on some nice 20, 21-inch fish. Didn't have too many throwbacks on these rock piles, so we had a great day Tatag fishing. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the next blow that's coming in. A lot of strong weather predicted to come in the end of the week. You have to see what the bait's going to do. I guess we can only find out when it comes to the upcoming weekend. So things continue to be good up in the Coles River. Lots of schoolie bass up in there. The Warren and Barrington Bridge also boasting some great Tatag fishing straight up and down on the pylons, and some nighttime striper fishing in there also. So if you have an opportunity to do any of that from shore, you can. But I gotta say, I don't think things are quite winding down yet. Toby, I don't know where your temperature for the water is in Connecticut where you live, but when I was out in Mount Hope Bay, it was 62 degrees still on my sounder. That's just the surface temperature, but I know that these stripers are gonna stick around for a little bit, and we should have some good opportunities that we normally don't get in November that we will for the upcoming weeks. So till next week, we'll catch you next time. Tight lines.
Thanks, TJ. Yeah, where I've been fishing here in Long Island Sound, the waters have been 60, 62, 64 degrees on the top end out in the Sound. Again, surface temps, like you noted. Left from inside the Connecticut River the other day, and the temps in the river were actually a bit cooler, in the upper 50s. I think it was 55, 56 range, maybe even. But of course, that's kind of expected this time of year, as the cold waters, all those feeder streams coming in from inland, as well as the Connecticut River being well inland, obviously, you get cooler water faster coming out of there, but nonetheless there's plenty of bait and still plenty of bass around. But getting back on track here in Rhode Island, while most of the local anglers are hitting the surf or hunting for bottom fish, Elisa over at Snug Harbor Marina had quite the report to pass along to us this week. She said the big news around the shop, despite, again, great striper action, really good blackfish action, big news this weekend was that Sven Meyer landed a 300-plus pound thresher shark on Saturday. He was fishing just south of the Acid Barge. Now, that's quite the catch any time of the season, but especially getting a shark of that size in late October. Congrats on the awesome catch. A bit more common, however, right now, is anglers heading to their local reefs and rock piles in Rhodey, and Captain Tom Logan of Fish on Charters from Watch Hill has been doing just that. He's been targeting cod, sea bass, and of course blackfish. Now on Saturday, he headed out with a charter. The plan was to start off sea bass and cod, so they pretty quickly got into some nice fish. Right off the bat, they had a solid 13-pound blackfish on the boat. What makes that even more amazing is that, again, it was caught on one of the cod sea bass spots, and it was landed not on a crab, but on a clam. Now, it's obviously no stranger to be getting blackfish on soft baits like that, but probably not exactly what they had expected when that rod doubled over. Congrats on that awesome catch, too. Also in Rhode Island, talked to my old friend and fisherman subscriber, Rocky Zotto. He sent me an email with a picture over the weekend of his wife, Kim, with her first ever blackfish, as you can see here. Now, Rocky said that Kim hadn't fished with him in over 20 years, but decided to join him over the weekend. They were going on a little bit of a trip off of Charleston for blackfish. The 22-inch, 10-pound tog was her first fish of the day, her first blackfish, her first obvious keeper, and she followed it up throughout the rest of the day with a bunch of other keepers and shorts. It had some really good action, so congrats on that. It's going to be a tough one to beat. And then last up, heading on over into Connecticut. If you remember last week, I showed you a picture of my friend's son, Kyle Garvin. He had a really nice blackfish that he weighed in for the Black Hall Outfitters annual Togtober tournament, which actually ends this weekend, so good luck to everybody fishing in that. Well, on Sunday, my son Aiden and I joined Kyle, as well as his dad, Chris, to do a little bit of blackfishing of our own. Now, Aiden had never been, he's been on boats before in freshwater. He'd never been out in the salt on a boat, never been saltwater fishing from a boat. We've just done shore fishing and kayak fishing so far. So a whole bunch of firsts going on here. First Blackfish trip and everything else. Well, it didn't take long. He put his first blackfish on the boat. Really got the hang of the bite pretty quickly. I was impressed. I know personally it takes me some time to get in on the blackfish bite, but he picked up on it pretty quick. He and Kyle were both putting some nice fish on the boat, and then Aiden followed it up with a solid keeper, his first keeper blackfish. Congratulations, dude. Really happy about that. He was about as excited as you could expect. So it's really an awesome opportunity right now. I urge everyone, if you've got a child, young kid that wants to get out and fish, definitely get out and do that if you can. If you've got friends with kids, open them up to the awesome world of fishing. Let them know what it's all about and what it is that attracts us to the sport. All right, well, there you have it. I'm Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman Magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water this weekend.
Steigercraft boats, built by people who fish our waters. Serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.